Welcome to MIRx. In this video, we'll check out how MIRx works in Vienna Instruments and Vienna Instruments Pro, and how easy it is to incorporate it into your orchestral templates. The main idea of MIRx was to pour the knowledge we have collected over the years in the development and use of Vienna MIR Pro into a simplified, standardized and optimized solution for the classic ideal placement of virtual instruments in a three-dimensional space, and then offer this solution at a great price. Of course, you can test drive MIRx with your Vienna Instruments collections. Simply order demo licenses of the available MIRx venues on the respective product pages. Now let's take a look at how this works in your sequencer. Load any instrument you like in either Vienna Instruments or, in this case, Vienna Instruments Pro. You will see that there is an additional destination parameter available in the real-time controller area of the basic view that lets you control the MIRx dry-wet amount. If it's not activated, the slider is transparent. The Edit button takes you directly to the Reverb tab in Advanced View. The Reverb tab shows all reverb options: none, algorithmic, and MIRx. As soon as you activate MIRx, your loaded instrument is detected, and you're ready to go with your epicone sitting at the right place in your virtual orchestra, with carefully adjusted dry-wet ratio, which is set to 50 by default for every instrument profile. You can adjust the dry-wet ratio to your liking for each instrument individually, and now that MIRx is activated, the slider in Basic View is also activated, of course. Now, if you'd like to check out the epicones in a different location, you can switch to other MIRx venues in a blink. The instrument position display will not only show you where your instrument is located in the selected MIRx venue, but also which direction the player is facing, and you'll see the stereo width of the selected instrument. With a huge section of 20 players in the appassionata violin section, your stereo width will be very broad. As you can see, MIRx updates the instrument profiles depending on which instrument is loaded in the first slot of the first cell in the first matrix of a Vienna Instruments Pro instance. If you decide to add a patch from another instrument, additional profiles will become available. Remember that you can only assign one profile for each Vienna Instruments Pro instance, and of course the wrong profile will make an instrument sound quite different. But that also gives you a little room to experiment if you like. And additionally, you can choose from 12 general purpose presets for each MIRx venue, for ensembles and solo instruments. With most instruments, you will find a choice for different placements and sound characteristics in the profile menu. This way you can place your selected instrument on its designated place in the orchestra, as additional players in an ensemble, even if you are using the same instrument, for example this triple horn from the Special Edition Volume 1, as these positions were fine-tuned with the pre-EQ for different sound characteristics. Or, of course, in solo positions. Now, if you insist on having the solo horn play on the left side of the center, simply swap left and right in your host channel. In this case, I'm using the gain plugin in Logic X to apply this trick. So let's talk a bit about the pre-reverberation EQ with tailor-made EQ settings that match the position and character of each selected profile. If the sound added by the pre-EQ is not what you're looking for, feel free to use the Matrix EQ that's integrated in the Matrix tab of Vienna Instruments Pro instead. Natural volume is the simplest way to get the balance and tone weight of all playing instruments right. This way you know that your French oboe sounds just right in relation to the big horn section, which will help a lot with arrangement decisions. The natural volume values are always in relation to the loudest possible sound of the loudest instruments in the symphonic orchestra, the big percussion instruments. So a solo flute without orchestral context will sound rather quiet when using natural volume. The natural volume values are approximate values. It will always help to set the volume of each Vienna Instruments Pro instance to a value of around 100, so that you have some headroom in your mix. There's no better judge than your own ears when it comes to a mix of your music, and the natural volume feature should be a great orientation. The last section of the manual displays all the available positions of all instrument groups in all MIRx venues, including the position of the main and secondary microphones that are freely definable in Vienna MIR Pro. You'll find that some players might even look into a weird direction, but that's simply because the instrument sounds best this way in this specific venue. Another cool feature is that you can synchronize your Vienna Instruments instances. Each Vienna Instruments or Vienna Instruments Pro instance in your host that has a ticked synchronized box will be synchronized with the parameters you can set in your MIRx settings individually for each instrument. The selectable synchronized parameters are venue, natural volume, pre-EQ, and latency, and they are activated by default. Now if I switch to another venue in this Vienna Instruments Pro instance, all synchronized Vienna Instruments Pro instances in the same host will switch to this new venue. Remember that you might be using Vienna Instruments and Vienna Instruments Pro in different hosts, for example in your sequencer and in Vienna Ensemble or Vienna Ensemble Pro. Each of these hosts is a different world, so synchronizing will only work within these technically separate worlds. Last but not least, you can select your default MIRx venue that is assigned when you activate MIRx in Vienna Instruments or Vienna Instruments Pro, and the latency that is added by MIRx. The higher the latency setting, the less strain will be put on your CPU. Latency will also affect your RAM load, so bear that in mind when you find the right latency setting for your setup. 512 samples is the default setting. Of course, latency only affects live playing. It is automatically compensated when playing back your arrangements. Thanks for your attention. We hope that you enjoy MIRx as a simple yet effective tool to create a well-balanced mix with authentic symphonic sound.